These two teams in form, 4 out of the last 5 games.
Libber in at the middle, Hutto. He'll get a job. It looks like possibly on Craig Bradley.
Both sides coming off terrific victories. The Dogs from behind and the Blues led all the way. The match is underway at Optus Oval. Darcy and Garlick, who was so good here last year. Mansfield with the spoil. Christou was very quick. Beaumont, who's signed a long-term deal with the Blues this week. Garlick tackled high. Liberatore got through and got it out wide so they can start to run. Gilby's kick is, well, it wasn't bad. Grant went to ground. Free kick.
Well, good start here to the Bulldogs, and I just noticed it was Scotty West that was driving deep into the forward line, so he may well be given the charter just to get the ball out of the middle, then just push deep into that forward line. But here's a good chance for the Bulldog skipper to kick them away.
Chris Grant has kicked 26 goals, 14 for the year. Played such an important role in the third quarter in their last game against Geelong when he went back into defence and then kicked that vital goal late in the match. Here he comes from 40. He's pushed it across to the right and only just sneaks in for a behind.
So a positive start from the Bulldogs. Of course, very familiar with this ground. Have a tremendous record here. Their midfield pace comes in very handy here. Silvani the target from the kick. Penny the spoiler. Ratton at the back. Rode the bump. Kick towards centre wing. In front was Harrison, stripped to the football. Curley got a handball away. Gilby, who started today and been impressive with 2 early touches. Kick to half forward to Brown, who takes the mark. Having his best season, Jared, you'd say?
Oh, no doubt about that. He's pushing up very strongly for All-Australian selection for the first time. Today will be a big challenge for him.
And interestingly, the Blues flood, but not as deep as normal. The flood of about 12 to 13 players around the defensive arc there. And the resultant mark was taken by Glenn Manson, who transfers to Christou. Beautiful kick out of defence to Beaumont. And they set something up. The Elliott stand side. Target will be Houghton versus Harrison. At the back was Hickmott pushed in the back. And the umpire said fair enough.
Hahn playing on Hickmott, the 2 number 8s, and an important role for Hahn because Hickmott, in fact, Hickmott is number 9 at 1.
Short pass to Freeborn.
Bass was never a strong suit.
He wasn't going to pull you up there either, Hutto. He was going to let you hang yourself on that one. Freeborn kicks inside, 50 to a congested forward line. Kuna with the sit, couldn't take it. Houghton almost pinched it, couldn't. Whitnell with the kick, the hurried kick over the top. Darcy in good position, palmed it off nicely. And Johnson will find some solace in the boundary line if the kick can just get a little bit more, and it doesn't. An opening here for the Blues. Hume squares it up. Lappin's the man. And a costly mistake from the Bulldogs.
It was a costly mistake, wasn't it, from Brad Johnson there?
Just didn't quite have the purchase on the kick to the boundary line. So we look at the replay of the aftermath, and good sense of mind there from Hume to square it up to Lappin. Been such an important player for the Blues since transferring from St Kilda. Of course, played in a grand final at St Kilda. 111 goals his career. Shot on goal is not bad. It's not bad at all. The Blues fans like it behind the goals, and the Blues are up and running.
Well, it was just simply a mistake that created that one there for the Blues, and there will be plenty of these. You see this one from Brad Johnson. He's just going for the boundary. Just a bad kick, a miss kick, in fact. And, well, Darren Hume, who has started outside of the square, mopped up and organised a shot at goal for Lappin. One to celebrate, but not too hard.
So Liberatore standing alongside Scott Camporelli as we wait for this centre bounce. First goal of the Blues. Darcy able to release it. Garlick, was that a shove? No, it's a bounce.
Just quickly, boys, while we've got a lull in play for the Bulldogs on the bench, Murphy, Hudson, Hunter and Gilby. And for the Blues, Fletcher, Houlihan, Wiggins and Plunkett.
Libber's playing on Camporelli.
Bradley coming through. Garlick, again, he's had a fair bit of it so far in the match. Silvani leading Grant, but Curley and McKay will be the first 2 to get to it. And Curley wins out and release Grant. So good build-up by the Dogs. West's hand pass just had a little bit too much on it. Manton also overrunning it. Johnson around the corner. but he didn't go far enough around the corner and out of bounds on the full.
Just a couple of uncharacteristic skill errors there by the Bulldogs. We saw Brown's kick a couple of minutes ago not find a target. That handball was overplayed by West, and Johnson in defence made a mistake to allow the Blues to get their first goal.
So Manton's kick. Ellis, oh, he had the ride and judged it beautifully. Caused himself to play on and had to use Liberatore in short. Again, the Blues are flooding back here, so they're working it across 50. Harrison is still not within scoring range. Now they'll look for the little one to get it into 50.
Got the loose one, Garlick out the back. He spotted him.
He has, but it's a long way from home. It's a poor kick. Now Manton could run here. He has to wait really to his flood. Gets up the ground. So Bradley using Beaumont. Wanted to move.
Poor kick from Ben Harrison. If they're going to penetrate this flooded defence, they've just got to hit some targets.
Camporelli equally as dangerous, but just judged it better. So through the middle of the Blues building, Mansfield, Whitnell away from Penny, doubles back, Ellis to apply the pressure. Whitnell might go it alone. He tries to, but he kicks it out on the full.
Yeah, Darren Newman would be disappointed. He made the running, and Whitnell could have just given him the quick hands inside. Would have allowed an easier shot at goal.
Took a chance, Croft, from the kick in and did well. Did beautifully. The Saladami kick towards half-back. Darcy up. Ratton besieged by the Blues. Bulldogs, and the ball goes over for a throw-in.
Garlick has started on Craig Bradley, the captain of the Blues. He's had a couple of early kicks and a handball. Bradley just the one possession. So we have a look at the weather. It is a magnificent day for footy. Overcast, no wind whatsoever. Classic winter's day here in Melbourne.
Libba's been busy with the clearances already and the stoppages. Brown, right foot kick. And wasn't his preferred option. Paid the price. Houghton, who started today, takes the mark.
Just some skill errors, Hutchie.
Yes, better kick there towards Camporelli, who takes it every player in this half of the ground. Can you believe that? No one at the other end of the ground. Kick to Franchino. This is a dead set game of basketball at the moment. Kounafides, handball, releases Beaumont. Terrific start. Beaumont kicks a goal.
Well, they just orchestrated one extra man on the John Elliott stand side of the ground. It was a smart play. He was actually directed, Camporelli, to kick it out wide to Franchino. It wasn't a great kick, but he had the support runner, and there he was. Beaumont was released, and he did the jobs, penetrating the big ones. Rowan Smith is currently playing on Beaumont, and Beaumont has had an outstanding season to date. Rowan Smith also having a good year.
So the Blues handling these congested conditions in a more superior fashion than the Dogs so far. Two straight to just the one behind. The skill errors of the Dogs have been costly so far. Darcy doing really well out of the middle, but again his finish wasn't as polished as he would have liked. Brown looked behind. He wanted to swing back onto the left boot. He actually had time, but it doesn't matter. He does it off the right foot anyway. So he squeezes it through for a goal, and that will just make them feel a little better.
Well, it was a brilliant goal. It was also great work by Darcy, except for the handball, which once again he got just a little bit too much adrenaline involved, I think, in the execution. Have a look at the big fella here, just running through the lines. Libba was there to support, and then, oops, he was lucky that there wasn't a Carlton player coming from the other way, because he may well have ended up in the closest hospital.
So a lively opening here at Optus Oval. This is going to be a cracker, this game, no question about that. The Blues by 5. Darcy, Porter, Garlick, who really loves playing here against the Blues. Kick towards half forward. Silvani bounced off his head on that occasion. Going in Harbour's Grant. Manson did a pretty good job. And we'll bottle it up. Jared, is there sides when you play who you generally have more confidence against because of your prior performances?
I think that's the case. You just match up better against some sides, and some sides match up better against you.
You would have looked forward to getting here today, Garlick, though, wouldn't he, after last year?
He's always had a good afternoon against the Blues. But see, interesting move, Ellis up forward. He's being picked up by Manton.
Penny did pretty well on that occasion to Brown, who's been busy. Liberatore holding his end of the bargain against Camporelli too. Charges away from him, kicks inside 50. The kick was errant. Chance for Freeborn to repel for the Blues. They squeeze a kick away, but again, it's Gilby in front.
This is the classic Indian arm wrestle. Both sides are playing very defensive footy early, trying to thread their way through their own flooded forward lines.
Robbins' kick was poor. Grant had 3 to beat. It fell his way. Garlick's kick squared it up. Good chance for Smith. Couldn't take it. Punched away. A sea of Blues in there leading the way. This man Beaumont, who leads their clearances for the Blues. Kicks to Hickmott. And some space here. And a real chance for the Blues. And they get it cracking quick towards Whitnell on centre wing. He sits up, takes it. Just tries to hold the football up a little bit till he's got an option. And picked the right one and picked it into Hickmott.
He did very well in the end, Whitnell there. Hickmott going short again there, bunching up. Mansfield is committed to playing on, so he needs to find a target inside 50, and Houghton is that man. They're just appearing to have more options and more space in their forward 50, despite the fact that both teams are floating almost equally as much, Jared.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's more space, I think they're holding the ball up better until somebody finds some open area. And they're hitting the targets better. The Bulldogs have had their opportunities, but they're just not hitting the targets. What a great kick from Trent Houghton. That
is an outstanding kick, so that's 3 to the Blues.
I think they've set up pretty well here, the Bulldogs. It's just that they haven't made the most of their opportunities. That kick into Rowan Smith at, 50 seconds ago. If Smith holds the mark, would have been a tough one, or if the kick had been more spot on, and he would have had the shot at goal. So it's just a matter of taking the opportunities when they present, which Carlton have done better so far.
So the Blues sneak away again. And Mick Mansfield, a dual All-Australian, been someone a forgotten player almost. I mean that with respect. The last couple of weeks he's been terrific. Here's Penny, who's got the job on Whitnell, kicks towards half forward Grant, and did it pretty well, Grant. He made sure the umpire saw the contact from Silvani and let him know about it too, Silvani. And a free kick to Grant.
Steve Silvani won't know what's in him. Somebody's paid a penalty for him for scragging.
Shooting Bambi, isn't it, really? Let's look at the replay. And Grant made the first contact there, and Silvani squared him up, probably a little bit over the top. So Chris Grant, what a stellar season he's had, and has kicked 459 goals in his career, the boy from Dalesford. This kick won't be one of them, I don't think. It just drifts away to the right. And a minor score, so he'd be disappointed with that.
And boys, both teams made changes down back. For the Bulldogs, off was Harrison and on Kingsley Hunter, and for the Blues, Simon Fletcher came on for Glenn Manton.
Christou kicks it to the All-Australian Mackay, whose kick was an absolute shock. He won't kick many worse than that in his career, I wouldn't think, without pressure.
Just having a look at the figures, it shows that the Bulldogs are actually getting more than their fair share of the footy. They've been inside 57 times for just 1 goal. Carlton's been inside 4 times for 3.
Chance here for the Blues to repel. Silvani had to run the gauntlet and did it well. Did magnificently to Ratton, who releases Whitnell, who's playing the Paul Roos role again today, going as he likes. Kicks to centre wing, and the mark has been taken by Lappin.
Notice Porter's really pushing in deep into their forward line, allowing Cooter to go up across that half forward line. And Beaumont, he is spending an inordinate amount of time in their forward 50, given that he's playing on the half back line. He's been the man, I'm sure, that's been instructed to, when the ball goes down the outer side, you sprint and charge down the offside and get into the forward line.
So players everywhere across half back. Croft doing well from Darcy. He had to bomb, and it's pretty much one-on-one down there. This time I think the tables are turned. Silvani went down. He certainly accentuated the contact. So we'll watch with interest with that battle this afternoon. Grant was trying to get back.
It's surprisingly willing, isn't it, Grant? Silvani.
Christou.
He'll bomb it long now.
Well, he could almost bomb it to the square. Sets it up instead. Fletcher's in good position to mark. Gee, it was a good kick from Christou.
It's a good mark and a good lead. Christou has been so important with his delivery. Their kick-outs from full-back are almost world's best practice at the moment, given that Christou's about the best kick in the world. And, well, that pass to Simon Fletcher was superb. A good lead also, just coming around the back of the flooded half-back line.
Got to be a job for you in marketing somewhere, Jared. Here's Fletcher's kick. It's swinging back. Oh, as close as you can get. So the Blues' first mistake of the afternoon is a behind 3-1-19 Carlton. The Dogs are 1-2-8.
Harrison back on and Eagleton off. They may be concerned about the height of Fletcher.
And Jared, we look down the field, Silvani on Grant. It reminds me of a tussle many moons ago between Silvani and Lockett. It was just WrestleMania for the whole game.
Kick in has taken...
Well, that was a shocker, let's be honest. That was a shocker. And fortuitously, it has landed in the hands of Contessa. So I reckon Nathan Brown is pretty lucky at the moment.
Got away with it. Contessa. Real congested midfield. Both sides applying the flood about 40 metres out from goal, really. Conceding the ball till about there on most occasions. Yeah, good tackle there from Ratton. Will have a ball up.
And Luke Darcy there needs to be careful that when he knocks the ball, he doesn't knock it back too far into the Carlton area. Probably better off if he can to knock it his way, get his players running at the goal.
Koutafidis, Contessa tried to do... He did pretty well in the end, Contessa. Spoiled by Houghton, who started well. Tries to get a handball away. Contessa again in and under. Belts it out. West again at the fall of the football with Freeborn. Croft also. And eventually Ratton squeezes a handball to Bradley. Squeezes one again to Koutafidis. That was good football. And a great diving slips catch from off balance Hume. And again a congested forward line. Squares up to Christo.
Shot a goal from
who's a half a hope, as you said, Jared, but Croft was on the scene pretty quick. How many players in there, Jared?
At least 25.
Goes towards Whitnell. Big fly at the back from Robbins. Couldn't take it. The fall of the football lapping. Penny, who's doing pretty well at the moment, and doing some work with Gary Pert, the ex-Fitzroy player. That ends up with Brown. Kick to Gilby. A real chance on the break here. The right man's got the footy, Rowan Smith. There's no one forward of him for either side. He goes to the top and have to bounce 40 metres. And it won't quite get there, of course, because Christo will be first on the scene. An amazing scene in a game of football.
That is like rugby league, isn't it?
That
Just
is like
kick the ball
soccer.
down, and then they run, and then you build your line again and try and stop them.
One of the differences, Hutto, is that Carlton were doing that against Richmond 3 weeks ago and lost badly. Last week they had a runner coming from the other side of the ground, making sure there was an option in the forward 50, something that Terry Wallace is going to have to work on.
Ratton to McKay, who goes inside 50. Big fly at the back. Hunter couldn't take it. Hickmott, so good in these situations. Great goal.
It was the umpire having two thoughts about whether or not he was going to pay the free kick there. Carlton finished with the goal, but Porter was slammed into, and the umpire had the whistle halfway to his mouth and then decided against it. But a good result there for the Blues, and Porter just going in there is giving him that target and also someone to contest and bring it to ground.
You would think the Bulldogs had never seen flooding before, the way they're trying to play against it. Really struggling. Great start though for Carlton. Out of the middle, Houghton. Johnson, Liberatore, Ratton. Just hacked it. They're just behind the pack, swooping. Camperelli had time to set up the pass. Usually delivers magnificently. He landed in the back of Porter. So another chance for the Blues. And the Dogs are getting squashed here. Big Mark Porter.
This is an indication of just what may happen when Matthew Allen is again available. Porter goes forward, Matthew Allen into the ruck. It's augurs well for the Blues.
He's guided it just a little bit to the left. And so Carlton 4-2-26, and the Dogs are 1-2-8 in this opening term.
And Ellis is in a bit of trouble too with an ankle, I reckon. There he is on the screen. History of ankle problems, and that'll be a pretty important loss to them this afternoon if he was to go off.
Well, last week Carlton upset the Port Power by really destroying their kickings, and at the moment it looks as if they're doing the same to the Blues, although if you can take a mark like that, you're going to be getting them away pretty regularly.
He's having a big season. Darcy releases Harrison against his old side. Johnson just not quite in the game at the moment. Brad Johnson not quite sitting for him. McKay clears for the Blues towards centre wing. Sits for Lappin.
Look for Beaumont.
Very creative player. Has a bounce. Goes to the pocket, just about concedes possession of the football in the end.
He went for the boundary line. That's exactly what he did, and that is very much like rugby league or union where they hit the line.
Well, he's got two choices. Beaumont just couldn't quite get into open space or get close enough for him to kick it. So he either kicks it and hopes, and generally that means the ball will go straight back over your head, or he goes for the boundary line and they reset.
Terry Wallace on the screen, shaking his head. Gilby again. Shows a little bit young Lindsay Gilby as the ball goes over for another throw-in.
And boys, you've already mentioned Craig Ellis. Physios are still out there and he keeps looking over at the bench, so it wouldn't surprise him if he'd be off fairly quickly.
Who they got there, Ozzy?
Well, it looks like Hutto's warming up, but I don't know if he'd be the ideal replacement down back.
There's Ellis on screen. Just struggling at the moment. Keen to stay out there, obviously.
Telling the physio to get lost.
Darcy wins the hit out. No room there for Contessa. Another ball up. So the Bulldogs just need to get something going here before quarter time. We've got about 10 minutes to go. And really, Carlton, wouldn't surprise you if they got another couple of goals here, the way they're playing. Porter did well. Bradley squeezed the kick away. Kunafiti's into the front spot. Palmed it beautifully. Hume tried to pluck one out of nowhere. Couldn't do so.
Well, Hume has been matched up almost on a weekly basis through the middle of the ground. Today he's started up on that half-forward line. Hudson to come onto the ground at the expense of Ellis. You're suspecting Ellis is going to come off the ground now.
Gee, it took him a long time to get him off, didn't it? Or to even finalise that decision. I guess with play down there, they just didn't want to risk it. Smith kicking in, he had a couple of options. Harrison limps into the mark. So there's still one man down at the moment as they wait for Ellis to get off the ground. To a pack of players, and Whitnell, superior in the air. He was away, he just fumbled the ball. He's going to have to come back behind his mark now. So Hudson onto the ground, and he'll run straight down into defence, at least for in the short term.
Freeborn's an interesting one. He's tagging Brad Johnson at the moment, but he's just running Johnson out of the play with Carlton dominating through the middle. He's just taking Johnson away from the footy.
It was excellent work by Darcy, but Harrison couldn't get through. Mansfield set the chance up around the corner. Ratton, Freeborn, he should kick a goal from there. No problems at all for Freeborn. Steers it towards goal, and the Blues have got 5.
It really has hurt the Bulldogs this matchup. Freeborn has taken Johnson away from the ball. And Johnson obviously just a natural ball player. He wants to get into the action. He committed himself, tried to get involved there. His man hangs out. Carlton have the footy. He's on the open side and he penetrates the goal. If you control the midfield, you can control the tactics.
So 5 solo goal scorers for the Blues, and they've set up a pretty imposing lead here in the first term. As Houghton, as part of the routine, goes into the ruck. Porter to full forward, which will really test Croft. Of course, that's been one of their Achilles heels over the years, Jared, the lack of a genuine tall backman, the Western Bulldogs. Particularly when the resting ruckman can go forward. Liberatore, handball, Contessa squeezes a kick towards half-forward, Brown in front. Mansfield's got the assignment, kick out the back towards Johnson, who got a possession there towards Darcy. Decides to unload the torpedo quickly inside 50. What a tussle this is going to be all afternoon. It will be enjoyable. Grant did beautifully. Garlick trying to put the polish on it and missed on that occasion. Terrific effort from Chris Grant and a terrific matchup.
Oh, the Bulldogs are flogging Carlton in the middle as far as centre clearance is concerned. At the moment it's 6-love. In fact, I'll repeat, it's 5-1. I had to subtract rather than add. Put into our statistician.
Splash of tennis in there as well, Jared. Good to see. Here's Hume on the left foot, dribbles it.
Oh.
And the umpire played a pretty soft one there.
Yeah, it was there though. It was a dead set push.
So the pup, Darren Hume, short pass, good kick to Lappin, who's continuing to find space. He goes to Fletcher.
Who's got McKay running.
The target will be Porter over the back, or even Whitnell. Goes for Porter, got the right, couldn't take it. And the numbers with the Bulldogs, they're going to move it quick. On the burst, Hunter to Curley. Short pass to West. And Scotty West has taken the mark, squares it up again to Johnson. Starts to run into it, short pass. Robbins, they just try and hold possession. Curley on the overlap, did well. Continues to present. They're going to need Grant today to stand up. He tried to push Silvani under the footy. And, of course, Garlick in the end. Just happy to see him over for a throw-in.
And, boys, just commenting again on the Bulldogs forward structure, I just shake my head when I see them lining up outside 50 and running in with the ball. Look, I know I haven't played for a while, but I did play a lot down forward. You've got to start someone at full forward. It's just ridiculous.
Well, Darcy has probably been their best so far today. Gets a bit of a shove. West getting it out as he usually does, but no one there except Bradley. Trying to gain some territory and found a man. Lappin, Ratton on the overload. Up towards Koutafidis. Who else? 70 from goal. There's a big space forward, and there's one at half forward as well. Camporelli takes the mark. Beaumont calls for it. Hume goes short. It's Christo again on the outer side, and he's almost got it. He has.
They've just got to work this out. They've got the fellow running on the offside almost every time. The ball's coming in one wing. Somebody charges down the other side of the ground into open space. This time it's Ange Christo. They did this particularly well against Port Adelaide last week, and coming into this match it was highlighted as the key thing that they had to clear and work out how to defend.
And Hahn has hurt himself, and it was an awkward fall too, and I don't like the look of that at all. It was one of those ones where he went over on his knee.
He's been in good form too, Hahn. It's almost like a gridiron play, isn't it, Jared, the way they're doing it? Like a quarterback releasing, what do you call them, the running wide receivers.
Wide receiver. Here's Christo from 40. Straight through the middle. What a corner by the Blues. 6 goals, 339 to 139. They have absolutely spanked the Dogs in this opening term. Murphy comes onto the ground.
There he is. You can just see it all the way. Hahn should have got that one. No doubt he should have hit that ball. He just misjudged it, and he should have at least punched it or clashed bodies with Ange Christo, but he's got his own problems now.
So some tactics paying off from the Carlton match committee. Coach Wayne Britton early in this contest. Houghton, Ratton again, hurried the kick towards half forward. Penny read it well. Was run off the football, kick towards Mansfield. Hudson was there just on the ground. Wouldn't sit for him. Franchina's got the job there. That's an interesting one. Here's Garlick. Paddles the ball out to West. Squeezes the kick towards half forward. Bradley in the box seat.
Well, the problem now for the Dogs is they've got two key defenders in Hahn and Ellis, both off injured. They dropped Trent Bartlett before this game, so they're already down one defender. Chris Grant's playing up forward. Do they rob him and move him back into defence? You would hope they wouldn't have to do that because they need to win the game.
Still got Simon Fletcher on the other side. Let's see if he ends up with a footy.
Mansfield with a big fly, couldn't take it. And now the chance for the Bulldogs to repel Robbins. The Garlic have got it moving quicker. Brown in there also. Here's Hunter, trying to run the gauntlet. Liberatore stripped to the football. Camporelli at the fall of the footy. Just not quite working for the Bulldogs in the rebound. Inside 50 is about the same, I think, Jared.
12 all, and that's, I guess, just testament that the Bulldogs are getting the ball in there. They just haven't, A, taken their chances, and B, a lot of the time they're just given the ball back because of the flooded defence.
Darcy on his right foot towards half forward. This is where they're falling down. It's almost like they've only got one forward playing there. That's Chris Grant. Again, this wing is open, and again, Christo uses it to Koutafidis, who squares it up. Hickmott couldn't take it. Here's a chance for Hume to ride the bump. Got the handball away to Hickmott. They're still coming, Carlton. They might get another one here before quarter time. Pushing the back was dubious.
Well, I reckon it's a good sign for the Bulldogs, though, because I think one thing that has been missing from their game in this first quarter has been their absolute desperation. They're just playing a touch off what they can in the desperation stakes.
Beaumont's got it, and while Robbie Murphy was criticising the umpire, I think, Beaumont turned around and kicked the goal. What happened there? Beaumont's kicked the goal. Not quite sure what happened there, Jared, but I reckon Robbie Murphy took his eyes off the mark and Simon Beaumont capitalised.
Some dangerous signs here, though, because a number of the players of the Bulldogs have got their hands in the air, pointing the fingers, looking for accountability and looking for someone to blame, and at the moment it's not time to be looking around to point the finger. It's a time to just reset Reset, refocus, get your head back together.
I think Murphy was talking to his teammates rather than the umpire.
Yep.
But he certainly, in that split second, Beaumont saw a bit of extra space and a bit of extra time and just bombed it home. So what a quarter by Carlton. 7 goals, 345 to 139. Houghton in the ruck. Well, Bradley, that was very quick with the hands. McKay, Camporelli, there's still time for one more. Ratton off the left, measured it beautifully. Hume up quickly to look at the leads, the options. Went for Porter, Lappin is down, won't need him. Porter, tough ask from here. He's got a couple of leads on, one of them McKay. Just leisurely comes in and bangs it away. It just swings away at the last minute. Would have just about been the ball game. And you can't say that with the Western Bulldogs because Geelong did get away to a massive lead in the opening quarter and in the second quarter, in fact, in their last game. And on that day there was a bit of a gale blowing. Today it's pretty still.
I reckon Carlton may have Geelong covered for talent too, Hutto. Just having a look at the midfield battle, West is 5 and Ratton is 11. He has had an enormous opening quarter.
Good spoil from Porter. Camporelli lets Houghton. Oh, he made a bit of a meal of it. Croft, West. Oh, he gave it up straight to Hume, who handled to himself. He was actually trying to handle to a teammate. Fletcher, this is Whitnell now up the left. Good smother, Croft. And that should ensure that just that little bit tougher for Carlton to get one more scoring chance before quarter time.
Just having a look when that ball went out of bounds. Carlton had 5 players free on the other side of the ground. The Western Bulldogs are blocking up in a direct line between the ball and the goals. And Carlton are basically just going around the back.
Penny kicked towards centre wing. Harrison, Mansfield made the hard body contact. Garlick just kicked it off the ground towards the boundary line. Got a little bit of a history of having some slow starts at times, the Western Bulldogs.
Ratton's had 11 possessions, Beaumont 8, Bradley 8. And for the Dogs, Garlick's had 11. He's getting plenty of it. He's playing on Bradley, so they're a bit wide of each other. Brown, 7, and Darcy also doing well with 7.
Darcy was the man that got the hit out to Rowan Smith, to Scott West. #1 possession getter in the AFL at the moment. Smith again, kicks to the forward line. Grant did beautifully then.
I think that's what he's got to do, Hutto. He's got to push up to be about 40 metres out from goal because there's too many kicks under pressure going to that 40-metre zone. And the Bulldogs haven't had a player there making a contest.
I reckon this is an important kick for the Bulldogs because if he misses this, they'll go in as quite as tax at quarter time. If he kicks it, maybe just a chance to regroup and see that the captain's on song down forward today. It's a tough kick, particularly from this pocket. Grant, it's his 3rd shot at goal, and they've all gone that way, I reckon, to the right. Minor score, and a disappointing start for Chris Grant and his Bulldogs. They're up against it at quarter time. 36 points the gap.
What a
couple
quarter.
of injuries.
What a quarter for Carlton. And as you mentioned there, Ellis and Hahn both injured. Didn't look like there'd be much likelihood of either coming back on the ground. So an enormous amount of work for Terry Wallace to do, Jared.
Yes, he's going to have to really restructure. It's going to be difficult because he has got those key defenders out. In Ellis and Hahn is on ice. So some trouble there for the Bulldogs.
That was a shocking pun. 7-4 to 1-4. It's quarter time at Optus Oval. Second quarter from Optus Oval. Round 13. 2 of the informed teams in the AFL. Carlton continuing that form. Deserted the Dogs in the opening term. Porter back in the ruck. Darcy, West. Ratton takes it. Bradley gets them moving. Cooter from the side. Murphy handled it beautifully. Oh, contested, just too slow. Didn't have anywhere to go. Good contest. Mansfield almost could have been paid that. Brown over the top now. A free kick going Carlton's way to Mansfield as they break quickly. And the short option, one of them, Christou. He's got Cooter. Another kick further up the ground if he went long, but instead he goes short and in pretty ordinary fashion. Ben Harrison.
One of the worrying signs for the Bulldogs, though, is that Camporelli has really had no effect on this match with just 4 kicks.
6 marks to Christou is interesting, isn't it?
Oh, he's been almost BOG.
Todd Curley sets it up. There's more Blues there than Bulldogs, and Porter stuck the big frame and the big arms in the road. and Grant just couldn't get there. Now using Bradley, trying to escape from Curley's clutches. Wasn't the greatest of handballs, tough for Lapman. That was much better. McKay charging through. Again, the build-up from the Blues. This time had to go short and wide. Whitnell, Hickmott is a lead. McKay is on over the top. Wasn't a great kick. Oh, that's a great mark, though. And Hickmott could break. He didn't. He could pump it along to the square. It's still on. Sets it up into the goal. Scott Cooter. Oh, uncontested. He dropped it. Oh, he's been paid. And he's probably a little lucky.
Well, it was the first time that Cooter and Croft have been one out. Cooter's ended up taking the mark, but I thought what was indicative of the lack of pressure from the Bulldogs was how Bradley got that ball through successfully as a solid mark. McKay should have been poleaxed. He should have been buried, and he wasn't. In fact, he was able to brush off a tackle, and that just doesn't happen against the Western Bulldogs when they're on song.
So, the trend from the opening quarter continuing here. Awkward kick from Koutafidis, but it does the job. Swings back nicely enough. They've kicked the opening goal. 8-4-52 Carlton. 1-4-10 the Western Bulldogs.
Yes, it's an ugly sight, unfortunately, because we all came here expecting to see a nail-biter, a cliffhanger, whatever cliche you want to use. That's what we came here to see. And yet it's just been a drubbing so far, and it's pretty disappointing unless the Bulldogs can turn it right around between now and half-time.
Well, what can the Bulldogs do? 42 points of difference. We've gone in with a similar structure in the second term. Camporelli, who Jared said hasn't had an impact on the game yet, could be just warming up. Good mark to Whitnell at half-forward. That's 50 metres, surely. He kicked it away in frustration, and that was sloppy football, and Whitnell will make him pay.
No, I'm not sure that he kicked it away in frustration.
I reckon he did.
I thought it'd be mad if he kicked it away in frustration. I think he would argue that it wasn't a mark. Clearly, it was very well, it was a mark.
Yeah, but he'd heard a whistle. A whistle wasn't for him. I mean, players know 90% of the time where that free kick is going. And he may not have agreed with it, but that was just dumb footy.
So Lance Whitnell, who hasn't kicked a goal yet, playing more as a wingman today, I suppose, and pushing deep into defence.
I reckon Terry Wallace would like to take him off for that, but
yeah,
there's no options.
And 48 points will be the margin if he kicks this at the 4-minute mark of the second term. Can you believe that? Whitnell's kick at goal. It just keeps raining goals at Optus.
Well, Hutto, it looks like it's going to be a tough afternoon, because right at this stage, this match is over. Over and out. And it's only a matter now of whether or not the Blues go on to give the Bulldogs one of the most horrible beltings that they've ever had under Terry Wallace, or whether they can come back and make it a competitive second half.
Well, Terry's declared it's over. 48 points the difference. They came back from 47 in their last match. Liberatore tackled high, but a bounce. The umpire's decision. And there's just so few options, as you said. You can't take players off for discipline when you've got two big men already down. It's so difficult to know what Terry Wallace can do. At the moment, you've got to think that he's got to think about Chris Grant going back into defence, though.
Got to win the game when you're 8 goals down, though.
Well, at the moment, they're just getting flogged. He's not seeing the ball. Camporelli guiding it forward, and another one coming up. Hickmott could have a shot here or lay it off. Freeborn's still loose. He's still loose. He could still go to him now.
And his man, Brad Johnson, was 100 metres away. He had actually lost him. I think he may have thought the free kick or the kick was going the other way, because he was charging into his forward line.
Well, Adrian Hickmott, another important ingredient in this Carlton forward line. He had a short pass on with Lappin, didn't take it.
Should have given it.
Instead he bombed. Doesn't matter. Houghton stood up and then he's just going to lazily kick a goal.
They're gone, the Dogs. They've broken them.
They are completely shot to pieces at the moment.
We may be able to wind this back. Just have a look at the face on Kingsley Hunter, if we can get it back. There was no competition there. He conceded that the mark was taken and the goal was to be kicked. And it's obviously a pretty frustrating time for the Bulldogs. There's Lappin just at the front there. He should have taken that. Just have a look at Hunter here. Look, he's out of the contest.
And well, might Terry Wallace be worried? Pausing, looking into the phone, wondering what to do next. 54 points.
Johnson the full forward.
Has struggled for possession, Johnson, this afternoon. Just 4 possessions. Darcy tries to get them going. Perhaps it's time to throw Brown into the mix. He's being a bit wasted at half forward. Liberatore, who's worked hard, stripped of it beautifully. They're relentless, Carlton, at the moment. They keep on coming. Free water, half forward. Don't tell me another free kick. That's gone the Bulldogs' way. I didn't see that one at all.
That was a mercy rule.
Murphy to Robbins. They just try and hold possession, just slow it down a little bit. Gene Syracuse is on. He's kicked towards Garlick, who's their chief possession getter. Played for the free kick. And was probably a little bit lucky to get it. He dropped the head. He's not happy with the free. He wants 50. Well, that's extraordinary. Cop the free and have a kick.
Oh.
Goes, squares it up, just comes off.
He's a good mark, that one.
Lappin was hovering, but Croft's so good in those situations. On the overlap is Eagleton.
I think it's Little League and they're playing across the ground.
Here's Robert Murphy. Steadies up, got nothing on, has to go back square again. Play on, said the umpire. I think he thinks the 15-metre rule's in already. Kick towards half forward. Darcy takes it. Should have gone to Harrison first option. And they've just got no confidence in each other at the moment. And they're paying the price. Christou on the break. I'm going to go into this, Carlton. Lappin takes it. Players running everywhere. Lappin decides to go alone. Lappin will kick a goal. It'll bounce, bounce, and bounce through. They are on fire at Optus. Nothing is going the Bulldogs' way. And Carlton think they're invisible at the moment. Bulletproof.
They have just got a far more potent defence, the Blues, and they've been able to turn the ball around and expose the Bulldogs mainly from defence. It's one-way traffic at the moment.
Amazing scoreline this early in the game, 70-10. We're not even halfway through the second quarter. The Bulldogs just a shadow of what they can do. The Blues, though, are relentless out of defence. Croft. They just need to get a goal on the board here. They need to then follow it with another 8 or 9. Gian Syracuse going for a run.
It's a good formula they got there, Hutto.
Darcy, who kicked it to Johnson, who did slip over initially. Bradley, and here we go, breaking along this members' side of the ground. Camporelli, Whitnell, just waiting. He's well tackled by Contessa. Johnson, though, dispossessed by Silvani. Bradley just banged it on the boot, knowing there'd be more Blues there than Dogs. Houghton receives, looks up. Cooter's back in the square. Didn't want to take a chance. Hickmott sets it up for Cooter. Croft with Robbins in support. But it's all Blues at ground level. Beaumont for his third. Why not?
Well, the Blue Glue are giving them a nice old poleaxing, but also a couple of their midfielders that are getting tagged themselves are doing particularly well, Hutchie, as you were pointing out the figures of Craig Bradley.
Yeah, 14 possessions after a slow start. And some of the Bulldogs' key playmakers, Rowan Smith 3 touches, Johnson 4 touches, West 7 touches, and Brown 7 touches. Robbins 3. So Craig Bradley, 14 possessions, just keeps on going. And really the Western Bulldogs, other than Garlick, who's got 13 possessions, haven't got a midfield contributor statistically at all at the moment. Darcy decides to go alone to Garlick. They've been the 2 possession getters of most for the Bulldogs this afternoon, but Christou, who's dominating, couldn't take it. Brown, running. Can he stop the hemorrhaging? Can he kick a goal on the right? I reckon he might. He's pretty clever and just won't work for him. And the look of Nathan Brown there tells the story.
Pretty smart play, in fact, by Brown. The execution just let him down. He didn't lose his head. He was cool in what could have been a pretty rush moment for most players. He just had the foresight to assess it, stop, just couldn't get it around the body.
Christou squares it up to Beaumont. Been so important today for the Blues yet again.
Well, they've got 3 left footers down there that always seem to be able to find space. Christou, Beaumont and Mansfield.
Ends up with Bradley. Get another possession for him to McKay.
Beaumont again.
Now the Bulldogs go a bit more accountable through the midfield. Big fly from Robbins, but he dropped it, couldn't take it. Hume, he's just a workman-like footballer, just keeps on presenting himself. And a much improved player at that. The word from Frankston will have a bounce. That scoreline is staggering, isn't it? It's just quite incredible to think after the Bulldogs, who started okay in the first 5 or 6 minutes, looked lively. We thought it was going to be a good contest.
But a bit like Port Adelaide, I think the pressure that the midfield of Carlton have been put on them early really just robbed them of their normal skill. They weren't able to perform under the pressure.
Contessa to Murphy. Hamill to Harrison. They start to build something now. It ends with Gene Syracuse, so the kid's showing the way for the Dogs. Pumps it inside. That's a poor kick. Beaumont in the box seat. And Franchino was at the back.
Well, that just gives him no chance whatsoever. Brad Johnson ended up 2 against 1, and he's only a young bloke, but he's got to learn to hit targets. Well, give this side an opportunity rather than just bomb.
Christou to Houghton to Lappin to hit one out of bounds. Have a go, Anthony.
Yes, well, there's plenty of times in the afternoon, isn't there? Carlton 65 points in front, and the Dogs just look completely shattered at the moment. They need some leadership out there, don't they, from their senior players. At the moment, Hume, as the Blues continue to dominate. Curly, tough ass. Grant went back to help him with Silvani and Penny. Here's Silvani, almost threw that one out.
Oh, free kick.
West, no free kick paid. He had to put his teammate under more pressure. Oh, Curly was just too slow then. Freeborn running rings around him. Hickmott caught. Eagleton back for Grant. Johnson's got to beat 2. He couldn't ride the bump. Franchina easing back onto it. It's got Beaumont in support. Instead, he goes short and kicks it out of bounds off hands.
Any theories, Gerard, on where the Bulldogs can just maybe get something going for them?
No, I think they're doing all that's possible. They're just getting overrun at the moment. They've got Grant back into defence or on the ball. I think Darcy's really working pretty hard, but they're just not getting any ball at ground level.
That's a free kick surely to Robbins. Nope. The ball up.
And when they do get it, they're just incapable at the moment of making the right decision. They're going forward and just not being able to find a player in space like Carlton have.
12-4 against 1-5. Darcy. Oh, good steal. Houlihan just on the ground.
In fact, it may well be worthwhile just trying the ultra flood like they did against Essendon, just throw everybody up the other end of the ground, and if they can break a line, try and get a player to run towards an empty goal space.
Oh, Darcy was hurried. Didn't go anywhere. West, good shepherding by Contessa. West was under pressure, but they've worked it okay. Although Curley's still got work to do here. Oh, Liberatore had a little short one on the way to the right, didn't know it. And it's all Carlton. Houlihan taking the mark as they set up again. Whitnell's run down from defence, and he can run almost, well, to about 70 before he has to wait and unload. Probing kick, but lots of Dogs back in defence. Hickmott.
Silvani's pushed up there with Grant. He'll end up having a shot at goal.
And the ball up the result.
I mean, the problem with anything out of the box now, Hutchie, is that it's really just going to stop the hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to win them the game unless they play almost conventional footy and get on one of those incredible rolls that any side can do. But against a side like Carlton, they're equal if not superior in talent, and they're on song and playing a very smart brand of footy. It's just almost impossible.
Liberatore, who's worked hard to contest up. I reckon I worked out what Richard Osman was saying when he said expect the unexpected. I didn't expect the scoreline, that's for sure. Penny on the rebound towards centre wing. Grant at the back with 2 to beat. Silvani doing well, just palmed it back beautifully. Mansfield did the bump and Houlihan took the football. They're working for each other. They're playing magnificent football. Here's Ratton. Kick towards half forward to Lappin, who's just hasn't got an opponent today. He's playing on his own. Kicks towards the forward pocket. Chance here for Hickmott. Couldn't take it. Lets McKay go. Now Hickmott comes in. Smothered off the boot. A chance again for Lappin. He's everywhere. He dances. Gets around 3 players. Handball again towards... Oh, it came out the back to Fletcher. Smothered on this occasion. A comedy of errors. But McKay's still going. Rugby league-like stuff.
Better pressure the Dogs.
As you said, Jared, some good pressure. Croft was able to release Brown, who kicks towards half-back Garlick. But Beaumont's on fire. Having a stellar season and a stellar game. He's just signed a long-term deal. He releases to Koutafidis, who goes for the goal square. At the back, Fletcher! No, Hickmott! Track 3. It's Whitnall. It doesn't matter who it is. The Blues are killing them.
This will be their 11th straight goal since the Bulldogs kicked their last.
Too many targets up forward. And just far cleaner disposal through the middle.
So Lance Whitnall, taken 6 marks already today. Has the most marks for the Blues for the season with 80. And will kick a goal. Just sneaks in, I reckon. Only just.
Well, once again, Simon Beaumont involved in another brilliant passage of play. Big mark. Turns it round to Cooter, who just knows where Whitnall's going to be, running down that outer side. Fletcher almost grabbed in a big one, but the young man had the strong hands.
Remember a day, I think in the early 90s, where Carlton took into the last quarter to kick a goal against Carlton out at the Western Oval. Let's hope we don't have something similar in the final scoreline here. At the moment, you just can't see the Bulldogs kicking a goal. Carlton just dominating, absolutely flogging them. Matthew Lappin lines up. It's his turn. No.
Drag him off. Hit the post.
How long ago was that game you're talking about, Hutto?
I think it was 91 from memory.
I reckon it was Mark Arceri.
Yeah, that was the quiz question.
Sorry to spoil it. Kick into West, who's been subdued by his own standards, just 9 possessions. Murphy, who showed a little bit this quarter, on the left foot, the boy from Warragul. Kick to Eagleton, to West again. And they just try and get something going. Far more positive there, direct. Probably as direct as they've been all year, but it doesn't matter because this back line is unstoppable at the moment. And Christou has been the missing link since he came back in. Been in stellar form. Silvani squares it up again. Camporelli keeps running.
Beaumont again. Is anybody going to pick him up?
Well, Beaumont and Lappin are playing on their own today. Kick towards Plunkett against his old side, just on the ground. He'd be keen to impress. The Bulldogs could probably use him at the moment. Kick towards half forward. Might fall for Houlihan here. Liberatore at the fall of the foot. He got the handball out. Did well to West.
Oh.
And the Bulldogs are away.
Again, it wasn't a great kick. Beaumont, Eagleton over the top. Now, this is their best chance. They've got lots of players. If Brown can get it with enough depth on instead, he did pretty well to get it to Hudson. Christou could have given away 50 then as he came in from behind. No one on the mark for Hudson. He might as well run on and be shepherded and steady. And has he done enough? I think he might have. Oh, he's kicked the goal, their second of the afternoon. $13,583 to $2,517.
So Jared Hilly has left the building in disgust at this game so far.
Settle down. There's nothing to really say, is there?
Eagleton, Plunkett. And we'll have a ball up. The margin is staggering 66 points. Hume off the ground having a rest. Much activity on the Blues bench down there, Aussie.
No, not at this stage, boys, but I'm just thinking back to saying pre-game, expect the unexpected. One of those things they were going to do, the way they set up the forward line. They had the opportunities in the first quarter, but there was no one down there to kick goals.
West to Gene Syracuse, squeeze the kick out.
What did they have in mind, Ozzy?
Well, they were just going to do a la Pagan's style of football and push everyone up and have them running past the ball rather than running at it like Carlton are doing.
Yeah, I know you were critical of it, but geez, it's worked for Carlton in recent times with Koutafidis having all that space behind them, and I reckon it's a pretty fair tactic. But you know, they didn't take their opportunities, and all of a sudden, I think their confidence just was shot to pieces pretty quickly.
Hickmott shot a goal, just drifts away to the right, minor score.
Yeah, I know what you're saying about Koutafidis, and it does work well, but what my beef, I suppose, is when you see a ball coming over and it's either stopping dead in the forward 50 and there's no forward, or it's going straight to a backman, the tactic, I don't care, the tactic does not work when that happens.
So Grant takes a mark, goes for Liberatore and finds him. And he's going to go to Nathan Brown. It's his only option here, I reckon. Gives the handball off to Johnson, who could just about kick a goal from 52. Loads it up and gives it everything. Hudson, some heavy bullocking, did pretty well. And the Blues defence matched the task. Minor score.
That was Mansfield who got the fingertip to that one. He really has had a great renaissance, hasn't he, in the last month or so. Beaumont, and now they can move it through the wing. Fletcher slipped over, but he has time to recover. Didn't take the footy with him. Grant. The tackle slipped a little high in the end. The initial tackle was fine, so the umpire lets it go. Harrison. And the bounce is the result of all that. 4.5 minutes remaining in the quarter. The Blues bringing Wiggins onto the ground for Mark Porter. There's Silvani. Opposed to Chris Grant. This afternoon, Grant has had 7 possessions. Importantly, though, kicked 3 behinds. And that was pretty crucial. Obviously, wouldn't make that much impact on the scoreboard now, but at the early stages, it would have made a big difference. So the Dogs just moving it a little better in the last 5 minutes. Contessa takes the mark. Looks up, he's got Robbins away, kicks to him. It was a little dangerous. He's almost within range. Garlick calls for it at the top. At centre half forward, Robbins looking to find a path. He's pumped it long. Eagleton is at the back and he's going to mark it.
Well, that would be the loosest piece of play for the Blues that we've seen this afternoon, how Eagleton could be that far away from the man with the footy and still end up marking it. And I think both players, Mansfield, thought that the opposition or his teammate was going to spoil Mansfield and Houlihan.
Eagleton, he's just swung it away and missed a very important opportunity. Well, only important in terms of some respectability on the scoreboard, going in at half-time with only 2 goals. It's embarrassing.
There is bread and butter, Eagleton. He's probably been a bit of a disappointment, hasn't he, without being overly critical of him. He came across a high-credential player from Port Adelaide.
He certainly had his moments, but at this stage he's very much still a pinch hitter. And he's better than that. He can become a far more dominant player, pushing up the best and fairest list.
Went on an Australian tour, didn't he?
He did.
Houghton takes the mark, kicked a good goal from memory, I think, too, in the first draw.
Kicked a great goal.
7 or 98. Ball out of play on centre wing.
But right now he needs to kick half a dozen for the Bulldogs.
Not even half-time. We're talking about the Irish matches already. It's going to be a long afternoon.
Gene Syracuse has showed something for Bulldog supporters this quarter.
Yep.
8 possessions. Koutafidis, Grant.
I think the one, if you're looking for winners in the Bulldogs camp, I reckon Lib has done a pretty fair job.
Yep.
On Scott Cambrielli, who's had a big quarter. He's had 7 possessions, but he's had a lot of them in the half-back line, along that half-back line.
A good smother from Libba there. Ratton in hard. 15 possessions for Ratton.
He had 11 in the first quarter, so he's tailed off a little bit, pushed up forward a fair bit more this quarter.
To give you an idea of how much ball Carlton are getting, McKay 12 possessions, Ratton 15, Hickmott 11, Whitnell 9, Bradley 16, Beaumont 13, Christou 12, Koutafidis 9, and plenty of marks. Lappin's kick towards Wiggins, who takes it. And the stats tell an amazing tale. We'll get to those in a moment. Kick towards half forward. Chance for Croft. Hamill over the top to Darcy, whose kick was errant towards centre wing. Just turned it over too easily. And Houlihan marked it.
124 kicks to 79. 73 marks to 36. 22 tackles to 10.
They're damning stats, aren't they? Another chance here. Falls for Ratton. And his kick at goal is another one. Wow.
No, post up.
At the post. Ely Crow, sorry about that. Inside 50s a 30-21 in favour of Carlton, which is not as big a gulf as what you might have imagined.
No,
the half-back line's been terrific for Carlton.
They've been impotent, though, the Bulldogs, when they've gone into their forward line.
Gee, it was a dangerous kick in. Penny found it pretty tough. Darcy, who, as we said, probably been their best, gets it moving. Here's Penny again. He went for Jan Siracusa, who did very well to take the mark. Got Johnson going past him. Now he's got Smith to use. He's going to watch out. Oh! He got out of it pretty well, Rowan Smith. West and Liberatore between them can give them another scoring chance. Gee, mate, Jan Siracusa, just wait for that one. And the young man who, as we said, has shown a bit in the last month or so. Kicked an important goal late in the match against Geelong a couple of weeks ago.
Five marks for the 20-year-old today.
See how he goes from outside 50, or just on 50 in fact. He's got under it. It's away to the left. And it's unfortunately a behind. Pretty miserable way to win a pretty miserable half of football for the Western Bulldogs. In it they kicked just 2 goals 8. Carlton on the other hand, a lot to celebrate at half-time. 13 goals 7, Jared.
Well, I think
10th and 20th men, didn't they, just about? So.
And John Nichols was still in his big bloomers.
Second half from Optus Oval, 13-7 to 2-8. Darcy and Porter, and it was Porter who won the first tap. West, well wrapped up by Camporelli.
14 possessions to half-time. Scott West hasn't been noticeable at all in the game, though, has he, Jared? Just a couple of little dinky ones there towards half-time.
It hasn't had the major impact, although midfielders, often their work is only acknowledged when other players do something with the ball, and not a lot of players have been doing much with the footy from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it was a pretty penetrating kick from Beaumont. Lappin had the chance, he just missed the moment. Robbins guided it pretty nicely for Garlick, who takes the mark. Started the game well. He's had 8 possessions now, Simon Garlick.
Jeez, he nearly went out of bounds when he kicked that.
Darcy, good wrestling, good judgment, just couldn't complete it. Surrounded by Blues, Beaumont threw it, and that's the way the umpire saw it. Garlick with the job of giving it back to Darcy. Blues are already pushing back. Could go short to Hudson. Long to Grant versus Silvani.
What would you do with Rowan Smith at this stage of the game, Jared? He hasn't had much football for possessions. Would you put him in the middle or up forward?
Well, it's difficult to say. He's a natural defender, a natural running back, and he's playing on a bloke who's given him a bit of stick tonight in the same role today.
Well, it took them 5 possessions to kick the ball to the same place, and unfortunately it wasn't accurately. Hudson, Robbins, and it's out of bounds.
May not hurt to try and just use Rowan in a different role. Maybe tagging a Brett Ratt and get him into the middle, give him some responsibility, so he can run freely, but also have the responsibility of taking out one of the better players on the ground at the moment in Ratton.
It looks like West is running with Ratton at the moment. Away goes McKay and Bradley combining.
Camporelli going to full forward, dragging Libber down there.
Great run from McKay. The umpire might have said too far. He certainly paid the free kick to the Dogs. And it's going with Rowan Smith, who gets it back to Robbins. Again, not much movement up ahead for the Dogs, but enough for Hudson to get clear. Too far out to score. He guides the ball. Eagleton. Christou gave him a bit of a shove. Grant gathered it cleverly enough, but couldn't get clear. And Gian Siracusa sees it over the line and out of bounds.
And he's been a shining light, as we mentioned, Gene Siracusa. Darcy's been honest as well today against Porter. Well done by Darcy. Haul a hand round the back.
Move.
Clever skills. Ratton squeezed a kick out towards half-back. Chance here for Eagleton. Squeezed a kick away. It was Harrison. Freeborn runs onto the football. Bit more body contest in from the Bulldogs. That was far better. They make a contest. Koutafetes just dances through. Gives the handball off to his mate Christou. Releasing handball was a beauty to Ratton. And here come the Blues again towards half-forward. Camberwell in a long lead against Liberatore, who did really well. Great tackle from Libba. Did tremendously to hold it up. Bradley missed the target with Ratton.
Oh, good hands, Ratton.
Back to Bradley. Kick inside, 50. And good defence on that occasion from Contessa. And the Bulldogs can clear here. Curley, Garlic towards centre wing, and some space and some numbers. What can they get going here? Gene Siracusa. He's going to keep running and bouncing. Hudson might be the target in the end.
Brown.
Goes too far and beautifully done instead, as we see Hickmott in a bit of trouble. And Brown has taken the mark. It was a beautiful pass and a good, solid, honest lead from Nathan Brown. And it's such a good kick from this distance, Jared. Do you think he kicked the goal?
Yes, he's a very talented player, and he's had a number of opportunities for goal today. So far, he's kicked just 1 goal, 1. Libba on Camporelli at full forward may be a problem for the Bulldogs, and Rowan Smith could even have a run on Camporelli just to get some run into the legs and just break his tag, although Libba is doing a fine job at the moment.
Would you back him here, Hutto? Okay, Hutto wants to be on him. Usually subdued. Nathan Brown kicks it beautifully, slants it back, kicks a goal. The Bulldogs just with a bit of life left.
It's like working in the silent movies when you work with Hutto. Nathan Brown, it was a pretty fair kick. And it's obviously a pretty fair salad roll.
Here's the replay. Good presence of mind from this young man, Gene Siracusa, to just balance up and find the target.
And he goes bang.
Thanks for the concern. 13-7 to 3-8. So the Dogs starting in much better fashion in the second half, and gee, they needed to. Ratton over the top. Good work out of the middle. Garlic gives them a bit of a chance. Grant dive.
Oh, good grab. No, umpire's call, play on.
Silvani's going to get free here for holding the man. Frustrating for the Dogs. No mark paid. This is Camporelli now using Christou as they push to the outer side. No one's on their own. The Dogs have managed to man up a little better than they did in the first half so far. Franchina, Johnson right there with him. No one to lay it off to. He had to put the pressure on Robbins, who backed his own pace, and he got clear. Well done, Matty Robbins. Had the bat. He didn't.
Oh, that was rough.
Oh, umpire.
That was a bad one, wasn't it?
15.03 metres, and he's called him.
Christou, get ready for a wolf. Sets it up for Kuda. Croft to spoil. They're making much better contest, the Doggies, in this half. It's a better game of footy. Let's if you're a Doggies fan, I suppose. Great kick. West playing on, using Hudson. Must be a goal, and is. So they've kicked 2.
And here come the Bulldogs. We hope.
He's so important to them, Paul Hudson, isn't he? Because he's just when the pressure's on, the one bloke that kicks the clinch goal. And started on the interchange today. What's your decision? Well, it's a mark for mine.
Yeah, very close to a mark, but this is where it's more important because the contest was made across that half-back line. They got some run and some drive out of the middle. Contessa jets the ball long, and it wasn't a great kick, but he did find the target. It was a 2-on-1 situation in favour of the Dogs for the first time this afternoon.
So 2 goals this term to the Bulldogs. The Blues yet to register one. Liberatore is having a real impact this quarter too. He's one of the reasons they've got up and running a little bit. Hudson again, such a good kick. This occasion doesn't quite find Gene Siracusa. Silvani charges off. Polly Farmer like handball towards Camporelli, who belts it onto Ratton. And here come the Blues again. Handle that towards Camberelli, who just steadies up and kicks to Koutafidis. You like his chances from here. You really do want to be on Kuta from here. Instead goes for the goal square, and Penny was able to punch it away. He should have really backed himself and had a shot there because he had plenty of space. Anthony Koutafidis afternoon, 7 kicks, 6 marks, 4 handballs, and 2 tackles. Not too bad.
Still a 9-goal ball game though, as Curley goes, well, doubling back Garlick, if he can use it
well done,
here.
Libba. Great shepherd to Libba.
The space out in front of Jan Syracuse, a free kick coming
Libba
back.
shepherded Camberelli, and Camberelli threw the arm back and gave a free kick away.
So Liberatore across half back. He's had 3 kicks and 13 handballs this afternoon. That's his 4th kick. Looking for Darcy, who made a contest but couldn't complete the mark. Good work from Hudson. Good work. Gilby getting back contested, setting it up. Johnson and West playing as a forward marking player at the moment. Doubling back though is Christou. Bradley, no sign of him stopping. Hume. Out of bounds. 13-8 to 4-8. It's gone up a notch though in terms of a contest in the second half, despite the scoreline, because Carlton were just so dominant, so much one-way traffic in that first half. The Bulldogs had to be more competitive, and they certainly are being. Gilby sets it up. Hudson stays down. Johnson goes up and takes the mark.
Got Rowan Smith running.
He
needs to go back and have a shot.
Yeah, just go back and kick the goal.
Just 10 possessions between them, Johnson and Smith. Best friends, of course. And probably the 2 key ingredients in the Bulldog midfield. When they're playing well, the Bulldogs, they're a good barometer is what I'm trying to say.
Blood rule here, boys. Paul Hudson coming off.
Give them a chance, do you, Anthony, the Bulldogs? Maybe another solid role, mate. Sorry,
I think silence has been the order of the day, hasn't it? I think they've got, that's how much chance they've got. But it is good to see that they're being more competitive in this second half. Johnson.
Nice kick.
Yeah, lovely kick. So they've kicked 3 in this quarter already.
Well, the one thing we know about the Bulldogs side is that they're not going to lie down and die. They'd be thoroughly embarrassed about their first half. And whilst you can make an argument that the Blues have just taken their foot off the accelerator a little bit, you can only play what's out there. And at the moment, the Dogs are winning this quarter, and that's what I'm sure they set out to do, with Brad Johnson getting away from Scott Freeborn, momentarily at least.
3 unanswered goals from the Bulldogs in the 3rd term has breathed a bit of interest into this game. The margin 48 points. Of course, 47 points was the margin they came back from against Geelong. Brown, the youngsters have been good. Contessa kick towards half forward. McKay in good position, did well. What a big task it'll be for Robert Murphy against McKay, 13 years his senior. Releases Ratton.
He's had plenty of it today.
Towards half forward, Robbins took a chance. It's an interesting matchup. I reckon they moved Robbins onto Whitnell and worked out that Whitnell's playing more as a midfielder anyway. Handball ends up with Houlihan. Kick smothered by Johnson. Chance for Houghton, who's had some air time today. Ratton's kick inside. Sits up for Whitnell. And the kick at goal was
poor.
Thank you, Jared. Free kick to the Bulldogs.
Because he had plenty of time there, Lance Whitnell. It's not often that he makes an error of judgment like that. It was a skill error as well, but the skill error was forced by him not accepting and acknowledging that there was far more time than he thought he had. And here's a stat for the man in blue.
Yes.
Can you get that one down, our chief statistician?
The Blues' 23rd man.
Very good, Anthony.
Well, the
good
Dogs
move here. Just found some space.
Harrison roving across centre half back. His kick was imprecise, but it'll be okay. Garlick, he went to ground. Johnson, Liberatore. Went for Eagleton. 60 from goal. Johnson pushing into the pocket. Committed himself to playing on. Good kick for Darcy, who could mark. Thought about running on, but no. he'll go back and have a shot. So
just a few Blues players out there, Hutto, playing in second gear at the moment.
Yep. It's almost a natural. It's almost be hard not to, wouldn't it, after their first half? But the Dogs have been doing the hard things that we've noticed in this half as well. We've seen more smothers and tackles than we saw in the first half. And they've had it inside 50 8 times to 3 in the second half.
And they're taking marks again, which they haven't done all game.
So Luke Darcy. That's going to be close to making it, but just touched on the line. Bit of anguish there for the Dogs. The goal there would have certainly increased their respectability factor. At the moment, it's 47 points.
Probably just heavy legs there, Jared, running all day in the ruck, I suppose.
Yeah, he just miscued it in essence.
Okay.
Still got a long way to go in this match. He's only just after half time. Should have put that one through.
Mansfield, ball dribbles over for a throw in.
And you'll find all the stats on i7sport.com.au. You'll find out whether Matthew Lloyd can in fact kick more than the Fremantle Dockers, which at half time would have been an extraordinary result, but it was an amazing amount of interest in an unusual bet put in, I think it was by Centrebet up there in Alice Springs.
2-1, I think he was, Lloyd, to beat Fremantle today.
Unbelievable, wasn't it?
Contest out of the goal square. Chance for the Dogs. Eagleton fancied himself there, couldn't take it. Some loose, sloppy defence there from the Blues. They should pay the price. West's good in these situations. The Dogs just keep on coming.
Oh, here they come.
Well, it's right at this stage. There's no one out there and the Bulldogs thinks they can win. And there's no one out in the Carlton side that thinks that they're going to lose. But if something doesn't alter the work rate of the Blues, they'll kick another couple and all of a sudden the belief factor will start to come into it. And all of a sudden the Blues will start to get some doubt. So then you're in this real battle of the minds. Interesting the next 5 minutes.
13-8 to 6-9. 4 unanswered goals for the Western Bulldogs.
And if the Blues want to have an easy afternoon, they've got to kick the next couple and just snuff out the Bulldogs. Right now they don't think they can win, but if they kick the next couple, they'll start running harder and tackling harder and chasing harder, and they'll have a match on their hands.
Mansfield. Close to going out of bed. In fact, he was out. You just see with little incidents like that and the way that Camporelli slipped over, things just turned a little bit. And a bit of momentum going the way of the Dogs at the moment.
Yeah, there's no doubt I agree with what you're saying, Jared. The Blues, they're struggling at this stage. The Bulldogs have really let their fans know what they're on about this quarter, but the problem being is that scoreboard pressure. The Bulldogs, they just need one more goal scored against them, and it's just a pretty hard ask.
Yeah, the whole game could swing completely, despite the disparity on the scoreboard. If they could just get another couple, then the Bulldogs will start to believe in themselves again. Right now, they'd be thinking that it's only a matter of time.
Great attacking work from Contessa. This is Brown as it all opens up for the Dogs. Doubling back Rowan Smith, Beaumont with him. Oh, well done, Rowan Smith. Rode the first tackle. Ineffective handball. Was pretty effective as far as the Dogs were concerned.
At the back.
At the back, there was a chance. Johnson able to lay it off. Eagleton, Hudson. Oh, they made a bit of a meal of it in the end, and the behind conceded.
And just a knock over the line there by Craig Bradley.
40-point ball game.
Interesting to see in this circumstance him handballing the ball through from behind.
Could be another turnover here. West again. They're working hard, the Bulldogs, to get the feeling the Blues realise there's just a half a game on here. Certainly Wayne Britton wouldn't be happy that the Carlton intensity and work rate and run has dropped off.
Rowan Smith getting a lecture there.
He looks a better player when he's involved like this, when he's angry with the umpires and when he's...
emotional.
Yeah, exactly right. You get the feeling that he'll have a big second half because he's involved in the game emotionally. If that makes any sense. Darcy, Garlic, well read by Bradley. Kick towards the centre line. West read it best. Handball over the top, didn't hit his target, and they're going to cough it up here. Here comes Cooter. Decides to handball it to himself. And goes again, gets the handball away, but they're tough and hard at the moment. The Bulldogs, they force the turnover. Gilby to West, numbers everywhere through the centre, and they square it up. It comes to Chris Grant, charges through the centre. Look at this, I see a Bulldogs. He goes the right option too, which was Gene Syracusa from 50 out. Short pass to Brown, finish it off, couldn't do it. Bad kick in the end. And as I run out of breath, have a go, Hutto.
Well, they did too, just a little bit. The kick was just a bit imprecise for Brown, wasn't it, Jared? Yeah,
it was. He did get two hands on it, but it should have been a little bit flatter. And it would have been another shot at goal. He would have been another goal. And it would have given Sticks and Britton and Diesel Williams and Batty Mitchell in the box there a little bit to think about.
Well, they've still got a bit to think about here. Darcy cleverly feeding it out. Johnson broke the first tackle, couldn't break that one. Now the Blues can hurt them. Hume using Ratton. He's got a short one on in lap and he goes longer. Hickmott. Croft is his opponent at the moment. Harrison against Whitnell. Trying to hold him up, but he got cleared at Big Lance. Sir Lancelot from the pocket. No.
Boys, probably one of the hardest skills in the book, kicking a banana on the run. I think Lance will find that one out very quickly.
He had a couple of options up the corridor as well. Cooter was only 20 metres out from goal. And Carlton's last goal was at the 17-minute mark of the second quarter.
5 unanswered goals since then from the Western Bulldogs. Kick into Contessa. Takes the mark, goes left side. And they're all running forward to the football, which means they're a bit confident at the moment. Garlick, West has been the key player this quarter in getting the Bulldogs back up and running in the engine room. They never say die, the Bulldogs. Kick inside. And Beaumont.
Got to accept this one, Terry Wallace, that he's got to do something with Rowan Smith. He's just getting chopped up by Simon Beaumont. Maybe put him on someone else to try and alleviate the pressure he's under at the moment.
Okay, Hickmott tried to ride the bump, did pretty well.
It's out of bounds, is it?
No, he paid the advantage, right. Then he decided there wasn't an advantage.
So Adrian Hickmott decides to go long towards half forward to a contest, which they haven't done much of today. It's going to fall for them though.
Bradley by himself.
Get the handball off if he wants, or he can have a shot. Decides to go alone and kicks a beauty.
Well, that was a freakish goal. It was either a missed kick or he put the ball on his boot, deliberately trying to give it the outswing, the in-swinger.
Gary Ablett was the master of that one, wasn't he?
Oh, Peter McKenna was the all-time master. Have a look at this. Oh, not sure. We'd have to go to Brucey Andrews to find out whether that was a mongrel or not. It was a great cut anyway.
Well, that certainly will just steady the ship a bit for the Blues. 14-9 to 6-10. They had kicked 5 unanswered goals before then. Lappet it was with a pretty remarkable goal. Houghton couldn't get the clean possession. Darcy, maybe he can. No. Tries again. And now he's got runners away to the left, so they can start to build from the outer wing. Curley needs to deal with Hume first. He does that okay. Hudson, good kick. It was well spotted, and Hudson, McKay just sneaking over the mark then, with Bernie telling him to get back a bit. Hudson coming in for his 5th possession of the match. He's had 3 marks and kicked 2 goals straight. So he needs another accurate kick here to again give the Bulldogs some hope of at least making a contest of the game in some way, shape or form. A win seems highly unlikely, and the score at 14-9 to 6-10. It's away to the left and just sneaks in from behind, so disappointment in front of goal for Paul Hudson.
And a very rare miss too for Paul Hudson. Such a good record from those kicks.
As his last missed shot at goal was in 1993. Glenn Mant, I'll tell you what, he has spent a lot of time on the bench today, Glenn Mant. He was taken off early in the piece. May have just been a mismatch. There may not be anybody for him to match up on, but hasn't had much game time.
I think you're thinking of your last missed shot at goal, Jared.
Well and truly dead and buried by then.
Mansfield to Silvani. And a chain of handballs ends with Freeborn. who pumps it towards the goal square. No one on there on that occasion, and really got onto it in the end to the point where it went out of bounds for a throw-in.
Quarterback on.
Danny Bonaducci in the crowd. The Bulldogs jumper on.
Went down well.
Throw in.
Here's the Cooter man in the ruck. He's had a tough day, Cooter, at the office because Matthew Croft has matched up pretty well on him.
Hume, chance, great kick. Doesn't quite have the carry on it. Dribbles off for a minor score. 14 possessions for Hume today, an improved player for the Blues this season. Late developer, wasn't he, as a player? And Carlton exactly double the Bulldogs score at the moment. Gilby with a big job of kicking in. Good to see the kid backs himself too. Goes towards half-back. The early fly there wasn't on. Lappin, who's worked so hard. Bradley versus Penny. And Bradley will be just too clever here and see it over for a throw-in. Trying to suck the free kick out of the umpire.
Hickmott just warming up on the boundary line, and Houlihan coming from the ground. He'll be replaced by number 34, young Wiggins.
Pick 15 in the draft. Lappin kicks towards half forward. Wiggins that was. Pick 15 in the draft. The ball goes over for a throw in. So the Western Bulldog momentum, 5 goals in a row, has just dulled a little bit. Could have easily had a couple more up forward this quarter. Throw in. Working hard, Whitnall. West in and under, Plunkett. Did well. Got a handball away to Hume. Good handball in the end to Whitnall, who likes his chances and will kick a goal.
Well done to Jimmy Plunkett. He's having a good weekend at the moment, at least in the last couple of minutes. Spent a fair bit of time on the bench. I reckon he would have preferred last week's outing when he had a full game, but no match up for him today. So one of the members, the new members of the Blue Glue, has been stuck to the pine. But this time he brings the Bulldogs unstuck with a very handy handball, which set up the goal for Sir Lancelot.
(15-10 to 6-11) at Optus Oval. And Carlton have done enough just to ensure victory here, you would think. West. Free kick out of the middle, going the Dogs' way.
Ratton's had 8 possessions in this quarter, contested the best for the Bulldogs, but West, who started up forward, has been moved into the middle, and he's also starting to get some touches with 5.
Gilby was the third player to slip over in that contest, but he got it. Garlick, Smith, not this time. Grant, all left it behind except Silvani, who somehow got a handball out the back, and Beaumont, who keeps it low and gets his man. Oh, Hume, he handballed it before he even got it then, just about. Well done, Contessa, who's really battled on for the Dogs this afternoon. Robbins paddling it back for Garlick. Very short kick. Jansira Kuza has got Contessa in across half forward to use. Goes even wider than that. Curley pumps it long. Brown had the run, he had the ride, he couldn't take the mark. Grant kicked it off the ground. Freeborn, Hudson, McKay. And now the Blues are away. Fletcher being pursued by Penny. And he just gave a little shove and a little shovel, and the ball over the boundary line and out of bounds. Silvani's had 12 possessions today, 3 marks. Chris Grant, 9 possessions and 3 marks. And as we said earlier, 3 behinds. Darcy versus Porter. Darcy taking it away, but again ineffectually. Good work by Robbins. Grant barging his way through, but his kick off the left boot is just in for a behind to make it 4 behinds for Chris Grant in front of goal this afternoon.
So 52 points the margin, 3/4 time, not too far away. Christou brings it into Mansfield, whose kick to centre wing was good.
Great kicks open and right up. Here's
He can
Camporelli.
keep running. Good pace from Robbins, mowed him down, did pretty well. But Camporelli was on, he snuck away from Liberatore. And a lot of sides do that these days, don't they? Take Liberatore back to the back line, the very back line. Camperelli, one player who can play that position very well. We've got Franchina running for him, but he'll have a shot. It's been a tricky pocket to kick from this today. Not much of a breeze, but the ball has certainly drifted away. Jared Healy likes his chances, and it's just drifted away, I reckon, in the end. Line of score. How have you assessed that battle today, Jared?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt the Libbers had won the honours there, but they've had just that many more options, the Blues, through the middle of the ground, that they can afford to take Camperelli out, stick him up forward, and throw one of their other midfielders in without robbing them of any drive.
The Bulldogs supporters behind the goals have had enough, not too keen to get the ball back. And now it ends up with Brown, who's having a run on the ball. Plays on, took a chance in the end, but got a kick. And coughed it up, although Porter didn't take the mark. Liberatore tackled him when he didn't have it. Should have been a free kick. Free ball working hard with Croft. Freeborn can't get it out. And it wasn't terribly keen to either. We'll have a bounce.
Hume is now just having a chat to Nathan Brown.
Darcy and Porter. Johnson with a little handball. Garlic. Brown again squeezes a handball out. Ratton with a quick little handball.
And applauding the efforts of Brett Ratton with that little dinky handball.
Koutafidis tried to run the gauntlet, did pretty well, rode the bump beautifully. Plunkett squeezed a kick out. Croft decided to take them on, had to go. Didn't work, didn't come off. Koutafidis works hard underground. Good work from Nathan Brown, squeezed the kick out. And the mark's been taken by Darcy. The Bulldogs can set something up here if they move it quick. Darcy does that now. He's got Johnson running, takes a mark, needs to work his way into the game. Had a pretty good quarter though with 7 possessions. Kicks inside 50 to a contest. In front with Smith, couldn't take it. May have been infringed, decides to run again. Couldn't go in the end, and Wiggins, Beaumont it was, just found the comfort of the boundary line for a throw in. He's fast becoming unfaithful down there in front of the Social Club, and rightly so. Simon Beaumont developing into a tremendous player for the Carlton Footy Club.
So just over a minute remaining in this third quarter. Dogs would dearly love to get one at least before three-quarter time.
Had the ball inside there 17 times this quarter to Carlton 9, and they've won the centre clearances 5-0. So they've had a very good quarter statistically and on the scoreboard, yet they gave them just such a big break at half-time that it was almost the impossible task for them to put themselves into a position where they could have a winning chance at three-quarter time.
Whitnell, late effort from Penny was good. Harrison and Penny, oh, somewhat dangerous. Went back in the end, 20 metres. Cooter, oh, that was a deft touch. Hume away. Bradley, Curley, bearing down on it. Camperelli. He looked into the umpire's eyes and said, how about that for a free kick? The umpire let it go. Now it's advantage paid. Libber got one behind play. Garlic taking it away. Won't know that there's not that long remaining in the quarter. Corner. You'd almost pay that.
You would have paid that.
Out of bounds. 7 seconds remaining in the third quarter. That's what the other free kick was for. Bit of high contact on Libber from Camperelli.
There's no one out the back for the Bulldogs.
Hume. Siren sounds to end a much better quarter by the Western Bulldogs. They managed to kick 4 goals to Carlton's 2. Of course, it's not enough to get them back in the match, but a much more competitive effort, Jared.
No, I think that's the only assessment that you can make, Hutto. They did have a real crack there, the Bulldogs. No doubt the Blues just weren't as ferocious, didn't have their foot right down on the accelerator. But I thought that the Bulldogs worked pretty hard, and Terry Wallace will have some positives to report at three-quarter time. A far better and more healthy state than his address, I'm sure, at the halftime break.
So we go to a three-quarter time break with the Western Bulldogs trailing Carlton 15-11, 101, 53 points to the margin, 6-12, 48.
I might do special comments in the last quarter. I hope you don't mind. Just give my thoughts.
Last quarter from Optus Oval. 15-11 plays. 6-12. A crooked bounce to start with. Darcy attacked it very hard. Brown was being held by Ratton. Good hands out of the bottom from Liberatore. And the Dogs able to go forward. A real high one. Oh, Grant. Superior judgment. He had a couple away in the middle, and that's one of them. Nathan Eagleton.
9 kicks, 2 handballs to Chris Grant, 4 behinds.
Darcy from the side. Got it! Well done, Luke Darcy. Eagleton sort of went back to wind into what I presume was a shot for goal, but he just didn't quite hit it as sweetly as he would have liked. And Darcy, reading the high ball, able to take the mark from the side, and now has the task of trying to squeeze this through for a goal off his wrong boot, or perhaps with a bit of a reverse punt. Or maybe just a straight drop punt, which goes straight through the middle. So the first goal of the last quarter, the Western Bulldogs. And it's 15-11 against 7-12.
And had a tremendous year. Probably not many ruckmen going better than him in the competition at the moment, Jared.
No, he's been right up there, Craig, and he's going to push very hard. Matthew Primer's probably the favourite right at the moment, but I don't think Luke Darcy has got too many blokes in front of him other than Primus if you're going for All-Australian selection. Maybe not even Primus if you were just basing it purely on ruck ability.
So Darcy showing the benefits of full games in the ruck this season. And 21 possessions today too.
Interesting that Rowan Smith has started deep in defence. And Beaumont's gone with him. He'll be playing like a full forward now.
Okay. Camporelli. Porter, handball, Liberatore cut it off. Really running to some form today, Liberatore. Been excellent. Garlic also towards half forward. Gene Syracuse punched away by Lapman. And the ball dribbles over and out. 3 goals for Lappan. 16 possessions. Just tremendous at finding space. Throw in. Handball came out the back to Liberatore. Grant paddles it in front of himself. The Bulldogs got the numbers. Eagleton lays it off. And the youngster Gene Syracuse should finish it off with a goal. Another one. 2 in 2 minutes to the Bulldogs.
Good finishing skills, the young man from the Bulldogs. He's going to be a fair player if he can get his hands on it more regularly. Today, 11 kicks and 1 handball. And if he can get that tally up around the 20 on a regular basis, he's going to be a terrific player because he's when he gets a chance, he generally takes it.
Didn't start on the ground either, did he? I don't think so. He hasn't had the full match. So 2 goals in 2 minutes to start this last quarter. Much brighter start for the Dogs. And it means they've kicked 6 goals to 2 since half-time. Darcy again, Porter almost collected him, but Darcy stayed out of it and can give the Dogs the first use. Gilby back to Contessa, who's kept on trying all day. That's not a bad kick, but just a tough bounce in the end for the young man.
Oh, Nick.
High tackle. They all run away. Libber stays behind, gives the ball to Darcy. Has to wind into a left footer. Oh, the kick was smothered. The Blues will hurt them here. They're everywhere out on the wing. Camporelli. This is Bradley. Can run to 50 and kick a goal himself. He doesn't. He sets it up instead for Beaumont. And Rowan Smith's nightmare continues. It's a bit unfortunate, that one, as from a Western Bulldog point of view, Darcy could have driven it deep into attack, but the kick was smothered. And they were always in trouble on the rebound. So
he's had goal number 4 for Beaumont.
He's had a big day. 9 marks, 17 possessions, and 3 goals.
Plays a different style of defence, doesn't he, Simon Beaumont? Pushes outside the defensive 50, leads their rebounds with 34 before today, and gets forward as much as any defender going around.
Well, he's one of the most flexible players in the comp because he's just as at home playing at full forward as is across half-back. He's had a brilliant year this year playing as a defender, but I think it was one stage last year he had 8 goals to half-time in one of the matches.
Yep, it might have been 2 or 3 ago, actually. Rowan Smith against Collingwood. Charges through. Kick towards Johnson. Take the mark, he does.
Gee, they worked that well, the Dogs. Then a lot of those handballs in defence were under pressure, but the hands were clean.
I think Rowan Smith has, after that mark and shot at goal from Beaumont, been told to push forward again. And, well, here comes the magnet. Rowan Smith will now shake hands again with Beaumont.
Johnson's kick from 50's terrific. Another one to the Bulldogs.
Well, there's 6 goals behind now, and we've only gone just over 4 minutes.
And remarkably, since half-time, the Bulldogs kicked 7 goals to the Blues 2. And since the 70-minute mark of the second term, you make that 8 goals to 2.
They led by 72 points at the 20-minute mark of the second quarter. So they've halved the worst margin of the day. It was 72 in the second quarter. It's now 36.
And both Ratton and West are in their respective goal squares.
Blues out of the middle. Hickmott's kick. A bouncing one. Clean bowled Ratton. Well done by Penny. Garlick found himself surrounded by Blues, but did a pretty good job. Eagleton, he had short options on. He went longer. Rowan Smith in front. Couldn't take the mark. Rebound. Good smother from Gian Siracusa, but Mansfield off his wrong boot. Had Blues everywhere, but he just found Hickmott in the end. Eagleton couldn't quite get there.
Just looking at the game within the game, and there are many of them, Rowan Smith has been soundly beaten by Beaumont. I think we all know that. But it's the future of Rowan Smith, I think, is the greatest concern. What role is he going to play for the Bulldogs?
Again on the rebound, the Dogs with some space. Scotty West playing as a forward, had a man in front of him, he knew that. He gets it to him. Harrison setting it up, tough for Gilby in there. They've made a bit of a mess of it, the Dogs. They really did have open spaces and they didn't use it as well as they would have liked.
Why would they move Ratton forward, the Blues, at this stage, Jared?
Maybe just to rest the weary legs. They've done the same, the Bulldogs, with West. Give some of their other younger second string midfielders a chance in the middle.
Darcy with a big punch towards half forward. Christou sits up for him, lays the handball off to Beaumont, goes for the boundary line. Will it bounce inside? Does just. And a throw in.
There he is, Brett Ratton. Another great game from him. And
playing on
just...
Luke Penny. Wouldn't have thought of that matchup on the way in today. Part of the rotation for the Blues. Houghton. Well done by Contessa to bang the ball inside 50. Silvani looks a bit tired. Free ball there also. Hudson rode the bump, did pretty well. Trying to get a handball out. Free ball though. Just kept his feet, kept his presence. Got it to Bradley, who steadied up. Transferred direction. Went short in the end and didn't quite have enough on it.
Jeez, that's a great mark. He's got some talent, this kid. He can play on smaller players, as we've seen him on Ratton. He wouldn't be exposed by pace there.
Penny to Gilby, to Darcy, 60 out, wheels onto his left, spearing pass, got Hudson.
Jeez, that was a good kick.
Good kick, good build-up. And the one-hander from Luke Penny. And he's done pretty well today, Penny, on Whitnall overall. Whitnall's had 8 marks. Hasn't always had Whitnall, of course, at different times. He's been matched up against different players. But as I said earlier, he's done some work with Gary Pert this year. And they've concentrated on him as a backman. And he's done pretty well. Speaking of done pretty well, Paul Hudson. Stellar career, 466 goals before today, plus 2 today. And he missed one uncharacteristically in the third term. You'd think he'd kick this. Kick at goal. That is extraordinary that he's missed 2 of those in a day. It's been a long time since that's happened. 2-2. There's the output from Paul Hudson.
Just as far as the Dogs were concerned, that is a disappointing result. The margin is now 35 points. We don't think they can win, but gee, they could give them a bit of a fright if they could keep stringing some goals together here. They might get another chance. Contessa Eagleton should kick a goal from 40 and does. So here they come, the Doggies. You would not have thought that they would have got under 5 goals when it was 72 points the difference. And they couldn't get a goal. They couldn't even get a sniff of a goal.
No, he's had 6 possessions already in this quarter, Eagleton, and Silvani is coming from the ground. So one suspects, unless he's injured, that Wayne Britton thinks that they've done enough, despite the fact that here come the Dogs.
Silvani off, Porter also off, and a lost football at this stage.
Well, surely they can just get another one.
Well, there's one sitting on the Carlton bench there. Looks brand new. Anyway, want to go for the emergency football. Well, I tell you what, the Bulldogs will be filthy about this because it's just put a little dent in their momentum. Not much, but
Camporelli is running from one end of the ground to the other to try and get rid of Lubo. He's got about 30 metres ahead of him.
And Eagleton swinging as well. So it's just allowed both sides to take stock. Humes come off, Houlihan on. Liberatore's trying to engineer a matchup to go with Camporelli. There you can see Libba. Ratton also trying to get back into the play a little bit. Bradley got his hands on the football first. You'd think one goal will seal it for the Blues, but the Bulldogs got all the momentum. Camporelli gave one out to Liberatore, but he still took the mark. Kick to a contest was poor, but terrific effort from Harrison.
Gee, that was a good
he stood tall, and he took the mark, and they need to just kick the next one or two in the next couple of minutes. Be half a hope. There's plenty of time left in the game. Brown on the overlap, kick towards centre wing. It would be the greatest comeback in AFL history should they win today. We're not saying they will, but 29 points is not a big margin when you're on a roll. Gilby squares it up to Penny, who's been impressive. Kick towards centre half forward, long and straight, kicking as we mentioned at 3/4 time. McKay in the box seat, too experienced. Hustled his opponent under the football and kicked the half forward, but Penny again, he backed himself. He tried to take Ratton on the end and did okay. Plunkett, Liberatore desperate, goes after McKay, but he got the handball away. And Lappin, who's their chief playmaker, can really set something up. Turns his opponent inside out, goes inside 50. That was a game-breaking kick, and Houghton will kick the goal.
Well, that snuffs out any opportunity they had, the Dogs, and it was unfortunate because Luke Penny did everything. He got to the footy and he didn't mark it. He just pushed it in front of him, or he fumbled it. It was one or the other. And that was the last move. It could have turned into an attacking move for the Bulldogs. Instead, it turned into a rebound, as you see on screen. And Trent Houghton coming from the ground. Sorry, Trent Houghton coming onto the ground just recently gets on and gets a goal.
Well, you'd think that'd be just about it for the Dogs now, 35 points. And it did come off the half-back line, that Andrew McKay. Started the run for the Blues. Houghton finishing it with his 3rd. Darcy's just worked so hard all day. 25 possessions, 7 marks and 10 hit-outs. Bradley, another possession, gets it deep. Croft in amongst it all. Koutafidis, Hickmont around the body. Look at them. Houlihan. Had Whitnell in support. Houlihan reckons he can engineer a goal himself. He knows where they are, and he knows how to get it through them.
You're going to see a lot of that from that kid. He's a very talented player. Thought it might have been this year that he really took the game by storm, but he's still just been in and out somewhat. But it's all there, the package. It just has to grow a little bit.
Do you reckon they had a tricky backyard growing up, the Houlihans, and kick goals from everywhere? The three of them have, haven't they, in their AFL careers?
What a goal.
So Houlihan, with one of the goals of the season to date, has put the Blues well and truly in the winner's seat here today. Houghton went the hit out, couldn't take it. Garlick again. The Blues have just stepped back into action. Bradley wants holding the ball, but the umpire on that occasion wants nothing to do with it. Scotty McLaren. Just a tremendous goal from Houlihan moments ago. Darcy wins it. Again, the Bulldogs run forward to the football. We saw Brown do it there. Kick off the ground towards half forward. Johnson, a grand it was. Got it out to Gene Syracuse. A look away handball didn't work. Bradley got back. Torpedo kick up and under. Did well to get it to McKay. Just a hard-running half-back. Continue to push on and kick towards centre wing. Chance for Ratton, but sits for him.
Oh, good hand.
The handball out was terrific. Good football there to Houghton, spearing past to Whitnell. Too far out to score, but Kudafides in the box seat. Mark this one down, Lakuda. He's done a good job today, Croft, by and large, hasn't he? But just a couple of times here, he's just found 5 or 6 metres.
Well, the inside 50 stat is always an amazing one as Brett Ratton lines up, and he's going to thread through another goal. Yes, a great finish by Brett Ratton. He has continued to rack up the possessions despite the fact that he's been pushed forward in this last quarter. He's got up to 26.
Scotty West, his opponents had 20, Jared.
He has both players in this last quarter have certainly played wide of each other. In fact, 200 metres wide. Just going back to that inside 50 stat, I think it just emphasises the importance of forwards or forward structures or how the ball is brought in, because the Bulldogs have actually had the ball inside their 50 on 6 more occasions than Carlton today, and yet they're getting belted on the scoreboard.
Freeborn kicks it inside 50. Penny held his ground. Ratton did well. Got a handball away. Tremendous game from Ratton today. Houghton got the handball back again, but Curley did well. Rode the bump. Garlick handball out the back towards Harrison. Squares it towards Johnson, who's been quiet by his standards. It's the boos of the crowd. Unusual. Kick towards half forward. And Bradley's been stellar all day. Might just about be in Jared Healy's votes.
Yeah, he'd have to get a mention today. The legend of Port Adelaide and Carlton.
Keeps on keeping on. Craig Bradley. Who's to say he couldn't go for another season? Darcy hit out. West. Handball over to Liberatore. Bangs it inside 50. Hudson read it pretty well. Worked his way to the front. Couldn't take it. Tried to pickpocket it. Couldn't get it. Beaumont. Handball at the back. Good hands from Manton, who I think's back on the ground. Now Camporelli, who runs off into some space. He's got Lappin on here, I reckon. And that's exactly where it goes. Just continues to find space, Lappin. Handball inside was a little bit lazy. Doesn't hit Franchina at all. Croft paddled it back. Harrison. Good hard work from Wiggins at the fall of the football. The young man did well. And bottled it up. And
Ping.
Been pinned for holding the ball. Well, probably fair enough, but does penalise the player making the play. As the doctor ordering Lappin to come off here. Phil Pearlstein saying, get Lappin off. We'll just have a check on him down there if we can, Aussie. Liberatore's got the handball over the top. A goal coming up for Chris Grant. Steadies up from 30, pokes at it, and kicks a goal.
I got the feeling Lappin might have been dragged rather than...
Yeah, I thought so too,
sick.
but it was the doctor who ran off with him and was...
Yeah, you know, he's got a bit of a crook thigh there, Hutto. He's just limbering up, maybe his hip. Dr. Osborne will give us all the details very shortly.
Maybe that's why he handballed it as laconically as he did. Maybe he hurt himself.
Liver there, well, he's really done a good job on Camporelli. Camporelli's been liberised today. And he's been one of the few winners for the Bulldogs, has Libber.
Chris Grant, 13 possessions and 4 marks for the Western Bulldogs. It's his first goal of the day, 1 goal 4. Look at the way they use it out of the middle though. Hickman on the end of it. Bradley whipping in, wants to get onto his right boot. No, back onto the left. Kicks it up high. Houlihan. Penny, or Murphy it was. Houlihan still lurking. Murphy under pressure. Penny. Harrison. And now Croft can just ease the pressure a bit. Kick it out to the wing. Garlick versus Bradley. Garlick certainly made sure Bradley wasn't in the contest. Now he's got to deal with Ratton. Somehow he found Hudson. West on the overlap. Got Eagleton in short. Going to be pretty tough here. Kicks it up. Brown behind Mansfield. Hunter came on the scene. Brown beautifully tackled. The ball still loose. The umpire didn't know that it was. And he calls for a bounce.
Brown and Mansfield's been a good duel to watch today, hasn't it? Mansfield sacrificed his own natural game. Just 8 possessions and Brown's had 19. But having said that, he's done a serviceable job. Grant hit out. Christou at the back, lost his feet, conceded the behind. Robbins back on the ground for the Bulldogs. Had a quiet day.
Just with Matthew Lappin, boys, it doesn't look like it's too serious. He's just favouring his right leg. It's hard to tell whether it's a bit of soreness in the hamstring. The trainer's just about to give him a rub now, so I'll soon find out where that area is.
Just one for you, Hutchie.
Yep.
We've spoken in glowing terms about Bradley.
Meantime, we'll get back to that in a moment, Jared, because Hudson's going to kick a goal. A costly turnover from Glenn Manton.
Yeah, great rebound play there by the Bulldogs. Obviously, it's all too late and not enough of it. But you've just got to play each game out, because what you finish one game with often is what you start the next one with. And if they're continuing to work hard and keep persisting and keep true to their to the traits that have made them a very competitive outfit, then it'll serve them well next week.
Glenn Manton had some words to the umpire then. I don't think he thought he'd played on. That's what got him into trouble. 18-12 plays 12-14.
Just getting back to Bradley, it's always been an interesting conundrum, I think, when people give votes, because there's not a lot of difference when a tagger and another star player have, say, 10 touches each, and Bradley and Garlick, who have played wide on each other, have had 27, Bradley, and 29 possessions respectively. And yet Bradley will appear in most people's best.
Yeah.
And yet his man's had 29 touches.
Camporelli, it was very low. The kick at goal, but it goes through. I reckon he'll enjoy that one, Campo. 19 possessions, and that's his first goal of the day. It was Wiggins that got the handball out. And it was a mongrel of a kick.
And he's been moved onto the ball, Camporelli, starting to get a few possessions. The Dogs persist with having one of their chief playmakers, Brown, up in the forward line.
Well, we might see Nathan Brown come onto the ball. Your boy, Jared, hasn't had much game time, and might just be a chance for him to run into a little bit of touch. Been good in the forward line, though. Darcy. Bradley again. Handball to Ratton. Camporelli again. Sits for him, gets a handball out to McKay.
Dix, number 3.
Handball over the top towards Franchina. Now Plunkett. Former Bulldog himself. Good kick that was.
Yes.
Just good vision to Whitnell. Got it moving quickly to Ratton. Pumps it inside. The Blues will get it again here. Houghton. He's had a big day, Houghton. Has kicked 3 goals as a... Well, he's played a lot more time in the ruck than he has probably all season today.
It's been a great pickup by the Blues. They've been there, what now, 3 years or so? And
It's only 2, isn't it?
Only 2 years.
Second year, yep.
He's just rebuilt his career, and he's becoming a very effective second-string ruckman, come mobile tall.
And he's kicked 4 goals. Good afternoon for the boy from Warragul, Trent Houghton.
I think the other interesting aspect out there, when you've got 2 great players like West and Bradley who play a very similar role, it's I reckon always they would set themselves to make sure that they won the individual battle each and every time, because they'll be compared for all Australian honours at some stage, and I reckon on this occasion you'd have to give the honours to Brett Ratton.
Until all players and officials have left the ground and the siren has sounded for the second time.
So winding down here, the Blues still adding goals. Houghton's kicked 4 goals. 2012 to 12-14. West had it taken away. Camporelli, low kick. Croft made the spoil. Murphy, oh, it looks like he's got a lot of time, but unfortunately it fell loose. And young Wiggins goes in, and he likes that. It's his second goal ever.
And what a difference a year in footy can make. I think it was Robert Murphy who kicked the sealer last year for them in the dying moments of the game, and yet this time he's had a shocker. Just a little fumble. Fumbles hurt when they're that close to goal.
touch of the Michael Jordans there after he kicked that goal. The tongue was out. Simon Wiggins.
Good to see. Bit of flair. Another 9-goal game now. The Blues have kicked away again. Hotton's had a big last quarter and a pretty big day. West ends up with it. Tries to get it out. Squares up to Brown. It's a handball away. Might have been moved into the action. Harrison towards half forward. Gene Syracuse was held there by Franchino, who got away with it. Darcy said, cop that. Handball at the back to Gene Syracuse again. Weaves his way through. Good presence of mind. Had too much on the kick and Freeborn read it best. Takes the mark. Peels off. Goes across goal towards Bradley, who went for the fly, couldn't take it. Hudson. Dicky little handball at the back. Manton, McKay was there also, been good today also. Bradley again, had a lot of the football. Runs inside Hudson and kicks to centre wing with a low kick. Plunkett. Going all right, Jimmy Plunkett at the moment. Releases Koutafidis, barrels it inside 50. All the numbers with the Blues. Porter couldn't take it. It sits for Mighty Mick Mansfield. Peels on the left and kicks a behind.
Everyone taking a pot shot now for the Blues. There was a nice old burn on there.
There was.
This Mickey Mansfield swung onto the left and decided that he'd ignore the Fletcher lead and have a crack.
And why not?
12 goal scorers. Brown goes short to Gilby. Kick towards centre wing's a good kick.
Solid kick.
And found Eagleton, who has also shown a little bit today also.
Since you bagged him
Since I
earlier,
bagged him earlier.
he's played pretty well.
Oh, nice little move there. Sidestep from West.
Done from West. Kicks inside. Good kick. And Darcy takes it, decides to play on, had no options on. Spins inside out. And then kicks it in. And
perfect pass.
luckily, Hunter, who came to the Bulldogs as a full forward from the Fremantle Dockers, has taken the mark. Had a day I'd rather forget. Kingsley Hunter hasn't had a kick yet. And as Gerard alerted earlier, just got a little bit frustrated with himself a couple of times in defence. Picked one off under the blood rule. Having said that, he's a great kick, Kingsley Hunter. And I reckon he'll kick a goal here. There you go. Straight through the middle for Kingsley Hunter. Aussie, how's Matthew Lappin down there?
Yeah, he's not too bad. He's still walking around with one of the medical staff. He did get an extensive rub on his right hamstring, but overall he doesn't look too bad.
Such an important player to them. Good mark to Hunter. Sign of a good player about a rebound after a bad day. Speaking of which, here's Anthony Hudson.
So 21-13 to 13-14 now. Plunkett drops short. We're battling by Wiggins. Oh, Ratton just came through and kicked it off the ground about 40 metres. Robbins
got Brown onto the middle.
backed himself then, but it was a little bit dangerous.
He went straight over Brown's head.
And Wiggins takes the mark. Oh, he handballed it. Should have gone back and had a shot for goal. Lance off the left. Looks all right. And Jimmy Plunkett takes the mark. Might just be really enjoying this last quarter. Jim Plunkett have been enjoying the whole day, but against his old team, be happy to glance up at the scoreboard. And just remind his teammates of whose side he's on now. 21-13, 139 to 13-14, 92. And Jim Plunkett comes in and misses.
Some of the big possession winners in this quarter. Ratton's had 7 for 31. Camporelli's had 6 for 20. Bradley's had 8 for 29.
Kick in to Penny.
Eagleton's had a great quarter. 9 possessions. Just 14 for the game, but he's had a big last quarter, with Liberatore also having 7 and Darcy 7.
Robbins has got it. Kick to Ellis. Short pass to Liberatore. Kick towards half forward to a congested forward line. Kicks to a contest. Big fly at the back, but a good mark in front to Lance Whitnell. Camperelli. Kick towards centre wing to Manton. Hasn't had a good day, Glenn Manton. Handball inside to McKay. Towards half forward. Croft in the good position and takes a good mark.
Push out. Brown went early looking for the big mark and the possession.
Mansfield gives a handball over to Koutafidis. All the flooding and all the systems that have been in place in the game have got at the window.
Grabbed it.
A clever mark at the back. It was a real fingertip. He reached up and it was like picking cherries from a tree up near the border where he's from. And took a terrific mark to the young man from the bush.
Siren to sound soon here at Optus Oval. Just over a minute remaining.
So Houlihan, terrific future ahead of him, this young fellow. He's going to be a terrific player, the number 33. Steadies up. He's a very reliable kick, and that is no mistake.
Probably fair to say, though, Hutchie, that all the Houlihans have burst onto the scene early in their days and been very exciting and look like they've got a fantastic future, and so far none of them have really been able to go on. Adam, of course, still playing with Geelong and still's had some pretty good days this year.
They're just smart footballers, aren't they, rather than athletes? Gifted, all of them were. This young man won't be the best yet.
So the last minute of play from Optus Oval with Carlton 22-14 and the Western Bulldogs 13-14. Darcy got the tap out. Bratton can link here with Freeborn, who can almost kick a goal from there. Cooter versus Croft. Croft, no.
Done a good job, Croft, being one of the Bulldogs' best.
Well done by Wiggins, really fought on. And Croft just strolling it over the line. Just over half a minute remaining. In the end, a comprehensive victory here for the Blues. Absolutely slaughtered them in the first quarter and the second. And the respectability only came to the Dogs in the second half. Croft. Eagleton goes long. Robbins and Hudson, the two targets. McKay gathered cleanly by Freeborn. Now they're away again. Brown missed it. Ratton didn't. Christou, Franchina. And the Blues might get one more chance. Mickey Mansfield might fire away. One more for the road for the Blues. Porter kicks the goal right on the siren. And Carlton get home at Optus Oval. Absolutely blitzed the Bulldogs right from the opening siren. And although the Western Bulldogs managed to kick 11 goals to 10 and outscore them in the second half, it really was a comprehensive win by Carlton. 23 goals 15, 153, defeating the Dogs 13-14, 92.